full, I was working with blue chip clients, I was busy as I could be. But it was burning me out and I wasn't living the life that I was asking my clients to live. Let's into it.
Well, people, welcome back to our first podcast after, it's been 9 weeks, 10 weeks?
Yeah.
10 weeks where we could actually get closer. I was never too keen.
What does 1.5 metres of physical distancing look like for Territorians?
On the Zoom stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not techy enough for me. But here we are today in Byron Bay with Nathan Matthew from Health for Life and his little dog, who will be here every so often. Now, the reason why we're having a chat today is because the Health for Life does a lot of interesting stuff, and it's probably relevant for a lot of stuff on Instagram. But number one, they do the ice bath. Number two, they do the infrared sauna. And when we first met at New Year's Eve, and was it Craigie's?
Yeah.
You were talking about a form of exercise that was very new to me. But since you've told me, it's now very relevant because I see a lot of it. It's a very developed form of, how would you describe it?
From the outside, they class as like functional training. But I'm looking at the essence of movement practice, whether we're using a barbell, kettlebell, body weight, calisthenics, suspension trainers. It's the purity of the movement that you're looking for. Then comes the intensity and the purpose of training. But getting movement right first is number one, not just the other way around where it's like intensity first, messy as hell. And then like
injury prone,
then you've got to back a little bit and go, right, now we've got to fix everything. It's like, let's get the first layer and then the second layer, then the third layer. It's nothing new, it's what we see on Instagram and stuff like that. It's just the way I put it together.
But has this been around for, like, the form of exercise, has it been around for centuries? This stuff, let's say, yoga?
Well, yeah, yoga's been around for a long time. Kettlebell, like the actual bell itself, was one of the original pieces of strength training. It goes like, 1800s or something like that. There, it was used for wheat farmers and stuff like that. So they used to use it, as a weight. So they'd fill up the truck or the trailer with all the wheat and the rice, and have to put a weight on, which would then lever it, and then they could pull it around, and then the horse and cart could take it. Yeah. And they worked out there's certain moves they can do to get the weight up and stuff like that. Then it became a training method. Then all of a sudden it just got forgotten about, and then it came back into vogue probably 20 years ago. And it was seen as like a brand new tool, but it wasn't. And now every gym has one. Now it's just
See, sometimes I'm always a great believer that nothing gets invented; it just gets reinvented because it was here before.
Yeah, it just gets forgotten about because, especially in this industry, it's what's in vogue and what's the hot thing. So it's a constant evolution, and it's always like a new gadget or a new way of training. But when you break it down, it's like, no, it actually existed somewhere in the timeline. It just got forgotten about. Like breathing now is a popular thing, but we all breathe. But breathing like the yogis, that was like what they realized they needed to do to get into that meditative state. Heaps of different religions have been using breathing methods, deep sea divers, all sorts of stuff. But now it's becoming like a very mainstream thing. Like it's a cool new thing, but no, it's been used for a long time.
It's funny. It's a bit like pizza. And I say pizza, and you might think, why fucking pizza? Pizza was a peasant food, but bring it to a modern world and it's gourmet.
Or like nose to tail food. It's a cuisine. It's like, no, that was what the peasants used to eat. Hearts, liver, brain, kidney, all that stuff. Yeah.
I remember my mother coming home with a cow's tongue. I said, what the fuck is that? She went, oh, it's a snake. This big black tongue.
Yeah.
It was soup.
Now it's a delicacy, whereas it used to be just peasant food.
Yeah. People saying kettlebell is a common mate of ours, Dave Powell-Tabane. He's the world champion of kettlebell?
Yeah, world champion.
Sport of kettlebell?
Yeah, he's the Australian world champion, so he goes to like America and does all the...
Yep.
How many does he do?
Clean jerks. Yeah, he's got the record for that.
Yeah, they go like time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be like in 10 minutes, how many can you do?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different to, I've been taught that technique, but it's quite hard then to pass it on to the consumer. So I've learned another technique, but yeah, there's different ways of using the kettlebell. And the sport of kettlebell, it's brutal.
He says it's grip strength. I remember talking to him, he said, mate, it's all your grip's going, it's like here.
Yeah, so the first thing that will go when you start learning that is like you'll just blister the crap out of your hands, they'll be cut all the time. you'll blow your forearms up, and then eventually you'll have forearms like Popeye, and your hands will just be like they'll never blister again. Yeah, and it's an art form to get that.
You know, so what do you call that woman, the famous American actress, blonde pretty girl? She's got a Goop. She's got a TV show called Goop.
The actor, why have I not?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah.
So, because you do the Wim Hof stuff
Yeah.
within this, do you call it a practice, a gym? What do you call it?
I'll call it the dojo.
The dojo.
Yeah. So then there's equal respect between the client and the trainer.
My mind was playing that theme song. Diddle dee, diddle 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 diddle. You know what? He doesn't know what that is.
No.
It's the Karate Kid. Daniel's son,
Right.
Mr. Miyagi, the dojo.
Yeah. So the dojo, there's just equal respect between everyone who's in the room. There's no hierarchy. Just because I'm the trainer, client, whatever, it's like, no, we're even. Yeah, so it's a dojo.
Dojo. So she went and sent her staff to go and do this Wim Hof retreat, and one of her editors for one of the magazines, she was saying when she goes on a flight, she really fears flying, so she sedates herself so strongly that she's got to go a day early for the meeting because she's off her face.
Yep.
And Wim said, I'm going to fix it for you with breathing. And so I watched them, I think it was Norway, somewhere they did it in Norway, or somewhere really cold. Anyway, he eventually got everyone into this ocean of 3, 4, 5 degrees, whatever it was. And she was the one I was watching because I thought, oh, let's... Because I get anxious on a flight. I'm not the best flyer.
I don't like it either.
Put me on a big plane where I can sit down and drink fucking beer. I'm fine because I don't care.
Yeah.
But those little flights from Sydney, Melbourne, whatever, I'm not comfortable in that enclosed space. I don't find it an enjoyable experience. Anyway, so she did that experience. He got her in the water. Number one, she didn't think she would do that. She did that, went through it, and they went to revisit her like a year later with Wim, and she said, look, I haven't taken a drug since. She went, you've been able just to allow me this capacity, mental capacity to take control over a situation that doesn't really exist and it doesn't really matter because it's there, it's not here. And through that, I thought, well, that's amazing. How can ice bath or breathing I could probably get because I understand a bit of that through yoga and that sort of stuff. But the ice bath, which is what you do here. So, is that what you? Is that part of what Health for Life offers?
Yeah, so I've got like 5 spokes or 5 elements that I want to fit into. So there's the movement practice, there's nourish, there's mind, there's restorative, and there's environment. So the ice bath falls into really like the mind element of it. So when you hop into the ice, you've got to come back into the now, like straight away. You can't think about anything else. Credit card debt, you fought with your wife, you know, you're having a shitty day, whatever it is. Like, do you know what? You actually have to focus on right now. So there you've got the sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. So that lady you're talking about, she was highly driven in sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight all the time. So she needed something to calm that back down. So through the breath work, you can control from sympathetic down to parasympathetic. They can now measure that. So it's your autonomic nervous system. They didn't think you could control that, but you can just by controlling the breath. There's all these different breathing patterns you can do. So with the ice, it's the same thing. You can kind of put them together. So when I get someone in there, I'm like, so start breathing strong, but over time we're going to slow it down to the point where I can't hear you breathe. Then you've got control of the situation. If your body's shaking, you've got to control your body. So they're putting them into like a really severe condition to go, right, you've got to control yourself as quickly as you can. And like with the ice bath, if you do that, it's acute stress on the body, your body becomes stronger and more resilient. It makes the rest of the day so easy. You get a bad email, no stress. You have another fight with someone else, whatever. It's like, that can be the hardest thing you do, and if you can get your mind over that and sit in that ice bath for 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is, the rest of the day is a piece of cake. But it also controls that parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system because you've got control of everything.
So if someone comes to Health for Life, are they getting in there at the beginning of a routine, or is it something you work towards?
I can use it a few different ways. We run classes called Flow State, which is a takeoff of the Wim Hof workshop. So we go through some holotropic breathing for about 30 to 40 minutes.
What does that mean, holotropic?
Holotropic, so it's controlled, powerful breathing. So so in through the nose, out through the mouth. So it's a full breath in through the nose, let it go through the mouth. And if you've seen any of Wim's work, that's what he keeps repeating: in through the nose, out through the mouth. Fully in, let it go. And we do like 30 rounds, 40 rounds, 50 rounds. We have certain music going, so it sets the setting. Is like everyone's just immersed in it.
Do you get dizzy?
They do at the start, but that's just like the body alkalizing itself. But we're all laying down, so it's a safe position. And that dizziness will pass within probably the first 1 or 2 rounds anyway. Then they go into this state where they actually lose that sense of who they are through the body, and they just become like their mind through breath. So some people, like, you can lose them in a class. After a breath hold, you might go, okay, so breathe in again. Some people don't respond back to that because they've gone into a deep meditative state. So we'll do that for like 30 or 40 minutes with the breathing, the breath holds, the breathing, the breath holds. I'll work them up to like 3-minute breath holds if they can get there.
Breath hold for 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, and I'll say at the start of the workshop, do you think you can get there? Most people are like, no way. But I don't tell them. I just guide them through the 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and I might just say, okay, fully out, exhale, hold. And I just go quiet, the music's playing, we've got chimes going, Tibetan bowls, so there's certain frequencies that we want to work with. And I'm just watching the clock and I'm watching the class, and I might go 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, breathe in, and I won't tell them until the end. I'm like, you know what? That 3rd or 4th round, we went for 3 minutes, like made feel like, wow, 2 seconds. So after that, we all then hit the ice bath. So we work in 2s and we do 3-minute soaks. We'll just call it a soak because you're sitting in the water. And then if there's a class of 10, they'll go back around and do it again. So that's one way I use it. Another way I can use it is inside a workout with a group of people. We might use it after a workout. We might use it at the start of the workout, during a workout, as a recovery method of the sauna and the ice together. So there's different ways that I can use it. It's just another little tool inside the dojo that I can use, depending on the situation.
And the ultraviolet sauna, is that what, ultraviolet?
Yeah, far infrared sauna.
Far infrared. And I've only really heard of that since I moved to Byron Bay.
Yeah.
I only ever knew this cold sauna, which I would go to at bottom of icebergs and sweat. So allegedly this version of a sauna is much more good for releasing toxins.
Yeah, so you got the old school water saunas where you sweat a lot more externally. The infrared saunas, you get a deeper release of the toxins in the cell of the body. So the body gets like warmer on the inside first, then pushes out the toxins.
And do you feel heat when you're in there?
Yeah, well, it gets up to 60
We
degrees.
wouldn't be doing this today, but because of social distancing,
we're not allowed to.
we can't sit in a little box. So
otherwise we would have been.
Health for Life, check them out online, you can check out how that happens. But that's why we're sitting a distance apart.
And working on our squat at the same time.
I'm working on my squat, I'm opening up my, as you can see.
No chairs.
Here's the mascot. There he is. But yeah, that's for me. I'm a 42-year-old guy from a council estate in Glasgow. For me, we used to go to, if you were unemployed, you could go to the leisure centre. That's what you call them here, but like a sports centre. Yeah. And you could go to the pool and you got free sauna. And I remember you could get a sauna, and they always used to give you a wee cup of lemon tea. It was part of the free gig you got. And then there was a plunge. I never ever did it. My brother was right in there because I just always had this fear of cold, which I don't know why, because I fucking lived in a cold place. I just never. Whereas when I met my wife, she's had a cold shower every day since I've known her. Her father's Chinese, and it's just like that's what they do.
That's part of their culture.
They have a cold shower.
We're in a culture of safety. Yeah. Everything's 20 degrees. Everything's safe. Don't go outside that spectrum. Whereas the cold and the hot are the two different spectrums.
Extremes, yeah.
And it's always easier to get someone to go into a sauna than the cold.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But you can work. It's good to work both of the spectrums.
And it's interesting you say that, because my mind drew up some. It's easier. So say that again. You said it's easier to get somebody to go into the hot climate than the cold climate. When I talk to people when it's summertime, we go, I just want to go to Europe. I just want to learn to layer, like Melbourne. At least you can wear a jacket and you can take it off. It's the complete opposite. It's like, I want to be cold because I can make myself hot and then I can take off the stuff. I think I just want too much sometimes. I was thinking that when I got here, it's like, our lives are pretty nice. You know, it's like a pretty nice, easy life, and then the world gets shook a little bit and we all go, fuck.
Well, that's the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're in sympathetic overdrive all the time, right now sucks. because the world has been shifted. You can't do anything. You're in panic mode all the time. Stress. You don't know how to self-regulate that. But if you know and you sit in that parasympathetic nervous system, it's okay. Life's going to keep going. Income might be different. Can't go out to bars and clubs or restaurants. You know what? That's fine. I'll just adapt. I can deal with it.
So we're adapters. We're human. We can
so
adapt.
it's a real eye-opener to see how people operate in this situation.
You know, one of the things I like when you talk, when I look at your stuff, because I've been watching it from afar. I was supposed to come here
5 months ago.
Many times, and if I did, I was still at F45. And,
Can't believe actually you've got it on.
Well, James is he's a good mate, and
it's okay as long as you train.
Usually I haven't trained. I've done my own stuff at home. Now I've been following your stuff online, cheating, getting freebies, and doing it in my garden. And I just think, you know, sometimes we're quite image driven, and I think all this hard push, hardcore protein, this everyone's fucking all these the young team that's coming through. It's a very exterior image, and I think what you're doing and what I'm processing from that is there's an exterior, yes, that's the byproduct of the interior work you're going to put into yourself, because that's the stuff you actually want to be working on, the interior work. And when you've got TRX ropes here, you've got pull-up bars, in this space there's still a lot of gym stuff, and we'll show you some of these shots, but there's a lot of the other stuff, whereas normally you would need to go to, say, a yoga class or a meditation class and then the gym, so you would need to go to multiple places. Whereas here you've got it on
I wanted it in all one place. So even for me, because we live upstairs here, I want to access this straight away. So really the ice bath and the sauna was for me originally, and it's an add-on for clients who come to the studio, same with the bolster, so I can meditate and stuff like that. Even the flooring from like a jiu-jitsu floor to a hard floor. I want all the access to anything, but I want it any time. Instead I don't have to drive around everywhere.
And it's very. Are you male, female, or is it just across the board? What do you find people
clients?
Clients.
Both. Male and female.
Yep. Because I remember when you first moved in here, someone told me an ice bath. I thought, okay, an ice bath. And then all the people that told me about the ice bath, and some of the people who also had the same ice bath, I see them now in your videos. They're in there. They're part of it.
People loved it. Yeah, it was a part of the business that I wasn't focusing on. I was like, once a month I'll do a flow state. We'll do some breathing and ice, so let's see how it goes, because I thought this would be the part of the business that would pick up quicker. But actually the flow state were the parts of the business that was selling out the fastest each weekend, like 10 people. And I had waiting lists all the time. It was fantastic.
That's why I tried once and I thought, fuck, it's busy. And the guy that massages me, Joel,
he
was here. I know as a kid I grew up watching soccer, and you AFL? AFL? What are you doing? AFL. After the games, we would send all the sports guys for ice baths, and I always thought that was for fun.
Ask the AFL players, it wasn't for fun.
So you see, the Scottish guys had beers, they were all sitting in an ice bath drinking beer, typical Scottish professionals. And so for the healing part of your body, I'm guessing this is also a healing mechanism for...
Yeah, it can stop inflammation. And so let's talk about like elite athletes. So they're just being bashed up for 2 hours. It can increase their healing powers quicker, so they can recover quicker and get back into the training module that's coming up for the next week. So it stops any like internal bleeding for like, bumps and bruises and corks and all that sort of stuff, because the club's already got like Sunday morning, what training's coming up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the longer they don't heal the body, the less work they can get done for the next week. So it's just an easy way to get the body to heal, so the process can start quicker.
When we interviewed Justin Platt, he was telling us that when they fly, say for Perth, they take their own jet. He goes, no, the jet, there's 80 people. He goes, we're all getting massage. The guy, he goes, everyone's so cared for. It's like, what? I never thought about that. I never thought, I know the guys play the game and they probably go back to the stadium with a sports round and they get their therapy. No, on the flight. Because the turnaround for these guys is so fast. And what did he say, how many Ks these guys run?
I think it's got like 15, 20 Ks.
They can cover up to like 15 to 25 Ks depending on what position, and it's all sprint work now, so it's all down to like 40 metre efforts. It's just 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40 consistently, not like it used to be. The full forward guy would just sit in there and do little sprints, and the rover would be running like a marathon at the same pace. They're all just doing sprints everywhere now because it's all zone based. It's like you just got to run backwards and forwards here, that person runs backwards and forwards there. As soon as they finish the game, it's like, right, we need to get you recovered as quickly as possible.
It's interesting. How did you get into this? What happened? What were you before this?
So I always trained. I love sports. I played football and cricket growing up, but I was okay at sport, but it was more the training aspect that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the skill part of training and learning, and also putting training together. And then once my sort of sporting career finished, I got into the gym, and I found it really easy to train with a buddy and put a workout together. And I just kind of fell into it that way. I was a landscape gardener, didn't really enjoy it. I hated being covered in mud and stuff like that, and blistered fingers and sunburn all the time, cold weather,
Melbourne?
Yeah, Melbourne.
I
was in Melbourne for 20 years. Then I was a stonemason for a little while.
When you say you were in Melbourne for 20 years, where were you before that?
In a town called Finley in New South Wales, in the Riverina.
I don't know what that is. Where was that?
So if you're in Melbourne and looked at a map, it's direct north 3 hours. You got Shepparton, which is like all the fruit growing area, SPC. Another hour north, you cross the border.
Near Beechworth?
No, that's across. That's towards Albury.
Right.
So if you looked at a map, you got Albury and Echuca, Finley. There's Finley, Tocumwal, Cobram. There's a heap of little towns and a group there. Then you go up and it's Jerilderie, Dubbo, up to Sydney. So
a country boy.
Yeah, Southern Riverina. So every summer was just cricket. I just lived in whites, smelled like bleach, and then it was football in the winter. So it was just this constant turnover. Yeah. But it was more like. As I got older, I really enjoyed the training component of it, how to put the training together, watching how the coaches, when I got to Melbourne, how they put the training together. I enjoyed that because I could be good at that, whereas the game, I wasn't skillful enough to be dominant as a football player or a cricket player, so you just sort of sit back a little bit. But at training, I felt like I was at a level where I could compete.
Confidence.
Yeah, so, and I just grew into that.
Found your mojo.
Yeah, then I got into training, got into gyms. Did my certifications, worked at a little boutique studio in Melbourne for 7 years. Then I started my own studio in Melbourne for 7 years. And then I came to Byron, and I've been here for 5 months.
Why the move to Byron? Why did Byron float your boat?
I needed a change, but also the environment of Melbourne, there was nothing wrong with my business. It was full. I was working with blue chip clients. I was busy as I could be. But it was burning me out, and I wasn't living the life that I was asking my clients to live. And then I realised I hadn't seen a sunrise for like 7 years on a work day. Because I'd go into this gym, it was really badly built. There was no natural light, no fresh air coming in. I'd just train, come out at 2 o'clock at the afternoon, and that's the only sun I'd see. And if there was no sun, I wouldn't see sun for a week. Yeah. So I was just like, my partner, she said, come to Byron, have a look at this space, what do you think? And it just resonated, like the ocean, sunrise, sunsets, all that sort of stuff was like, that's the vibration of the message I was telling people to live. And I've been given the opportunity to come up here, and I was like, I'm doing it.
It's a good vibe up here, isn't it? It's like, because when I left Sydney, because I was in Sydney for 16 years, I didn't want to come to Byron because all the Sydney folk were going, we're going to Byron. I thought, fuck, it's full of wine. I don't want to go there. I'm going to go. And I tried everywhere else. I went to fucking Barrow, I went round the south part of Sydney. I went out towards Mudgee and Hunter Valley, and I tried everywhere. But it was a bit too old. I call it too many cafes were selling Devonshire tea, and that's not where I want to be. Not that I'm against Devonshire tea, but that's not my cup of tea. No. And I came up here, I hired a camper van, one of those green juicy ones, and my 2 eldest daughters came up here. And it was before the freeway was in, so you had to come down the old road, as you come down where that speed camera is. And I swear to God, it was like fucking, it was golden. Yeah. The land opened up, and this golden came in, and I thought, oh my God, it's fucking. So I just followed the road and got to Byron. Came into Byron, parked my car, went into a shop, but it was, hi, how are you? It's like, strange. Someone recognised me. It was just alone. I went to a coffee shop, and the coffee shop was busy. It was very busy. It was called Bayleaf, and my daughters ran up to it. They're like 8 and 10, so it can be a pain in the ass if you're a busy place. They ran up to the service counter. They start chatting to the barista and pointing to honey. At that time, I'm still on the street. Seconds are going by, but the place is busy. So if you know Byron, you know Bayleaf. It's a busy cafe. And I thought, oh fuck, here we go. So I woke up and I said, sorry. And she went, no, please. She wanted to explain to my daughters that the honey they use is the honey from the hives that they have on their roof or on the back. And I'm like, another tick. You don't get me. Even though I'm quite known in my little local cafes, they would still ask me, Scotty, can you get the kids at the Oasis? There's a different vibe here. And I thought, I called my wife. I said, you know what? I think we're going to like this place.
Mm-hmm.
Went away, came back 6 months later. Same bus, same people say hello. Hi, how are you? It's like, it's people smiling. Oh, fuck, it's just, you don't really see it, and then you realise like how like, up here you ask for a coffee, it might take 5 minutes, and you're like, oh God. But then you think, where am I going?
It forces you to slow
Where
down.
am I going?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you start to observe yourself. You're like, I'm just so used to this running, waking up and running.
Mm-hmm.
Running a marathon without even training,
Mm-hmm.
without eating properly for it, without sleeping well for it. And it was like, I said, it was like a big towel, it was like wound up. And it took like a year, maybe a year and a half to kind of unwind that. And you kind of got to remind yourself, especially me, because I always want to do more in life. I have to continue to remind myself, Scott, human being, not human doing.
Mm-hmm.
Human being, not human doing. I don't always have to fill up every part of my day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this continued reminder, and then when you're up here, it's like no shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's nice. It's just the stuff that I would never do in the city.
Yeah, you can't be walking around Melbourne, in Richmond where I was barefoot.
Yeah.
I think you're homeless and,
Yeah,
you're a druggie or something like that.
But to come up here and they do it for a week, they're like, ooh, woo, and they go back and put on the Dolce Gabbanas and get back to the credit card life cycle again.
Yeah.
But I think that's the most, Melbournians are the most people I've met up here.
Mm-hmm.
Melbourne seems to, and then Sydney, and then it's spread after that,
Yeah.
so like a lot of Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
But I've often found Melbourne, I think it's the cold weather.
Yeah, it's that, and it's
Direct
also
flight.
that sympathetic drive, like you said, we're all wound up like, a coil at breaking point, and people either turn to the booze or have to buy something else, like another car, another house, stress, until eventually they come to a place like this and go, oh my God, I need to actually relax. And I'm probably in the same position, like I reckon I'm still just unwinding that intensity of Melbourne, because I was getting it from all my clients. They were coming in, they're like, man, I've got to leave 5 minutes early because I've got another meeting to go to. And I'm like, now I've got that tension because I've got to redirect the workout and go, I've got to take all these things out of it. And then someone else is running late because of traffic, and the car parking was getting really bad where I was, and they'd come and go, oh, there's no car parking. So they're throwing all this energy on me. And it's not their fault, it's just the intensity of the environment. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Great people, I loved who I worked with, but it was just the environment I was in. I needed to get out of there for my own safety and my health and wellness.
I don't think so. You're probably one of the lucky ones that recognise it. Many people stick in it and just go with it, and that becomes the norm. They become bitter and angry. I was telling, I can't remember if I was telling Dylan or someone else, like, I wanted to go and do these talks to like businesses and just like tell people, it's like, before you even turn on the radio, that the road that you drive to your office is busy. You don't need the radio.
You don't need to
be reminded by the guy in the helicopter or the guy in Channel 9.
About traffic right here in Los Angeles.
Heading into downtown is one of the worst areas. The Hollywood Freeway, the Golden State.
My daughter knows. If the dog could speak, the dog knows. Because it's like when you turn on the radio, I would always turn it on for a bit of music, but you don't realise this, in this anxiety, this anger and this frustration. So you're sitting in your car, you're already angry before you got to the office, you're in the office, you're running around angry, and then you leave late, because that's what people do in offices or workplaces.
They don't do any work at work.
You drive back angry, you're unfulfilled, complete unfulfillment, and then the cycle.
It's just Groundhog Day.
And it's normal, I think. If people can just change the way they got to work, smile, know that that's a busy road, number one, recognise that, and diffuse the emotion or the energy you put with it, and just go with it. Take that time to learn the language, to
Podcasting, language, ebooks, like it's all there now, instead of just listening to the radio, getting frustrated with the world.
Oh, the radio, it's just bad stuff after bad. I always find it funny that the news, they do the big intros like at the opera.
A cat was up a tree.
Cat was up a tree, a bus driver was wrong. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Who said that was news? Why does that have to be news? What was this other news? Because there's so much great stuff that happens in the world. Why is bad stuff always news? And why are people going to get a degree to come and tell me that the M5 is blocked? Is that degree worthy? I don't think it is. I think you can just assume that's going to happen in a city, and that's not to take away from what people have applied themselves to get these degrees and these qualifications. It's just, I just don't think there's enough. I don't think we're doing enough to push ourselves forward in a civilization and a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And those are small things that people might quickly dismiss if they've never heard any of the stuff you do. But I only ask you to try it because I think don't forget the small acts of the daily stuff because they impact your life in such a great way over the long term. And if you log on to the health for life, health is for life, or health for life.
Health is for life.
But on your Instagram it says health for life.
No, there's an is there and a for.
Is it? Fucking hell. Alright, follow that one.
Either way.
And these small, like, but it's 15 minutes. And it's something that even Dylan says in his stuff, it's like move every day. Just take some time for yourself. It's like, whether it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, a breathing technique. I'm right into the breathing techniques. Not that I'm into it, I want to be into it. I want to just take that as part of my life because it's the functional part of who we are. We forget to breathe. Remember, I lost my first child. It was a lung issue, and the doctors were always saying, we don't really breathe, that we breathe here, top end, here. We don't actually breathe here. And they said, by not breathing there, you're not actually detoxing the lungs, which is where most of the processing of the carbon monoxide, everything, it gets done here, not here. This is keeping alive. This is living. I always remembered that. I never forgot that what that guy was saying because he was telling me for a different reason. But I always remembered that, and I thought he was telling me that, and now it means a lot to a way of life to take a big deep breath. You feel alive, right? I don't think there's any. I mean, you could probably get off on breath.
You could. You get high. You can go on a pretty deep journey with your breath.
Just
work.
breathing.
Yep.
We've always got the tools within us.
Yep.
And it's I remember as a kid, I don't know if you've ever done this, hard breathing, and then you hold your nose and you get this head rush. Did you ever do that as a kid?
Yeah.
So it was Wim Hof before Wim Hof was Wim Hof.
Exactly. He was just practicing it in a cave somewhere with some yogi guru. Yeah.
And if we knew that, us little kids in the outskirts of Glasgow, who told us that? I got no idea where that came from. Could have been an Eddie Murphy movie or something. And then, so Dylan normally likes to ask a question.
So my favourite question to ask is, what's a weird little habit that you do every day that not everyone else would know about?
Right.
And you sort of keep to yourself, even though you probably share a lot on social media. It's like
I was going to say most of it's on social media.
But it's that weird little thing, you know.
I would say something you do. To me, it's weird. To you, it's normal. Because when you told me how you live your day, like when you eat, when you sleep, when you don't eat, the fast.
Right. So fasting, compressed eating window. Yeah.
I think that is an interesting topic for many people because you don't eat after normally 2:30, right?
No, I try and finish my dinner by 4 o'clock in the
that's
afternoon. Yeah, and that's it till 9 o'clock the next day.
So what's that in hours? We're at 9. What is that?
It's like
16 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So most people would normally have dinner 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and if they try 8 o'clock, I just sleep better if I eat my meal a little bit earlier. If I eat dinner at like 6 o'clock and I'm in bed at 8:30, I just don't sleep as well because my body's still digesting all the food. So I found 4 o'clock was the sweet spot, and also when I wake up in the morning, I'm up at 5 o'clock starting my work day. So I do a lot of my brain work at like 5 a.m. till 6 a.m. That's my checklist of like workouts to write programs.
So you'd wake up, you would go to the computer or pen and paper, or where do you
Bit
start?
of both. So I'm a bit old school and like I like writing stuff down. So if I really need to have some thought process in like an online program for someone, I write it all down first. I need to see it on paper, then I'll put it into the computer. So every morning, maybe this is the answer to the question. So I've got a to-do list that I've got to get through. It's all checkpoints. So that's driving me towards like the ultimate, like what I want the business to look like. It's just little directions each day. So I get up in the morning, I make my bulletproof coffee, and then I just go through my to-do list. Then it's my morning routine, which is sauna with my breath work. Then I jump into the ice bath for 5 minutes. Then I get out and do some movement for about 10 minutes.
What time is that?
6 o'clock.
So you've been up for an hour?
So up from 5 to 6 doing really brain specific stuff. Because that's where I find I get the best work done and there's no distractions.
Silence.
I can just punch out. Like that's like 3 hours of work after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In the morning it's just pure work, journaling, all that sort of stuff, getting the business ready, reading and all that sort of stuff. Then it's the morning routine. Then from 7 o'clock, that's where like, all right, the day's now open to everything else. Whether I train, I'm training people, emails, whatever might happen.
And what would you have for breakfast? What would be on your breakfast plate?
So 9 o'clock, I can't wait till 9 o'clock. It's a protein shake, but the protein shake's got like protein powder, collagen powder, avocado, cacao nibs, turmeric powder, super greens.
No, I don't believe that's on the menu.
I don't think so. I sprinkle a bit on the top. Bee pollen, blueberries, and a probiotic yogurt, and I blend all that up, and I just can't wait to eat that. When you only eat like 2 or 3 times a day, you cherish that meal.
I bet you do.
So I used to eat I was like the bodybuilding world, like eat 20 times a day, every 2 hours, wake up at midnight, eat some more.
Yeah.
Now that you only eat a couple times a day, again, that's being really mindful to food.
Yeah.
It's like I really cherish that shake. Do not annoy me. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to eat it with a spoon because it's so thick. I'm going to really enjoy this. And then I get back to work and do my work. And then tonight when I have my dinner, same thing. I'm going to cherish that meal.
What's the menu for tonight?
Sweet potato fries.
You said that to me last time.
Yeah, love them.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time I'll have like a big chunk of carbohydrates. And to me, I just love my sweet potato fries. I think we've got some grass-fed, grass-finished steak.
Yeah.
And then some seasonal veggies.
I saw on one of your eating plans on your Instagram there was a lot of grass-fed, meat-based stuff. So, say that things like plant-based diets and game changers. What's your belief in that space about vegan foods? Or
N equals 1. It comes down to the individual. Because I've tried different things in the past where I had like no fat in my diet. It was like very much like again that bodybuilding world, like chicken breast and broccoli, and I destroyed my adrenals and all my like hormones. They were terrible. But that might work for someone else. Game changer going to more plant-based. Now they don't say the word vegan, it's more plant-based, but they do push it towards like the meats and like the fake meats and stuff like that. Someone wants to do that and they thrive on it, that's great. Someone's a carnivore and they thrive on that, that's great. You'll probably find that they probably keep moving around and try something else. Like what I don't like is when someone tries to push it on someone else. So if you're vegan and you train, I'm like, that's fine, let's do that, let's see where we can get. But never shut it off and go, you might change down the track, because things change. So I'm just big on making sure that the food's at its highest quality and highest value. So yeah, I want to eat meat that comes from sustainable farming methods. They look after the soil. The animals only eating grass the whole way through. No hormones, no grains. Because I've had a lot of digestive problems through my life, and I know like now that I've cleaned it up and I know where the pinpoints are. If I go back and eat a piece of meat that was grain fed and antibiotics and lollies and all that sort of stuff, I'll be like, I'm in trouble for like 7 days.
When you say that, you mean like squats, back end stuff, low energy?
Low energy, I get a heap of bloating, digestion goes like terrible, inflammation goes high, my brain just doesn't work as well. I'm not as sharp, and I don't want that. Like I lived like that for a long time, not realizing what it was. Now that I've worked out how to fix myself, I'm like, I don't want to live in that world anymore, and the minutes and the days and the hours are too precious to go out and eat a bad meal and pay for it for 4 days. I'm like, I'm not interested anymore. So my nutritional program for me, for some people might seem quite extreme, but for me it's like my job is to look after my body and the cell and make sure that that cell is reproduced better.
You said something that someone said to me today, that you said your adrenals were shot. How do you know your adrenals are shot?
It was a few different factors. I went through a relation breakup, started a new business. I lived in a house full of mold, and I was training like a freak. So put all those things together, I could hardly get out of bed, but I had to get out of bed because I was the breadwinner for my life. And I used to train like 2 people, and I had to fall on the ground and go to sleep for 15 minutes. Train 2 people and go to sleep again. And I was just living on coffee, and I was just like, I couldn't get any vibration out of my body. And I got some tests done that showed my adrenals were just like the cortisol was supposed to release at a certain time and all this, and I was just all out of whack. And I was getting rashes all over my skin, which I worked out was the mold in the house. So just that combination, that cocktail that I produced because of X, Y, and Z, I was just shot. Yeah.
So I think once again you've recognised something that many people probably just keep going with it.
Yeah, they just keep driving.
Coffee.
Yeah, expect that that's just like I'm aging now, so I'm 35, 40, I'm supposed to feel like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we've got the choice to either stay like that or actually raise that vibration through what we do. And when we get to 40, why can't we be better than when we were at 30 and slow that aging process down?
I'm 42. I've never been but I think I'm in the best shape I've ever been. And I think it's been moving up here. Because when I was in Sydney, I was totally unconscious what I ate. Like consciously unconscious, fucking bit of that. I would just fucking eat whatever. And go to the gym and think, that's alright, I've ticked that box off for the day. Whereas up here, it's a very healthy way of life. It's a very challenging way of life. And produce, we're very blessed to be able to access a lot of produce from producers and growers and farmers and that sort of stuff. And it's like to question a lot of the stuff. We would eat meat every day. So now we eat meat kind of 4 days a week. And we've brought in a lot more like vegan foods. I'm not going to vegan, just non-meat. We try to break it up. And then we talk to our kids, what do you want to eat today? You love sweet potato chips? I'm Scottish, I just love chips. Real potato chips, fry them, fennel and sea salt. Oh my goodness, it's like heroin for me. It's like, oh, even now I'm saying it, I've got saliva coming out. I think we should get a couple of shots if we don't mind, like you maybe doing something and with your pole, you're stretching.
Oh yeah.
Just so we can add that into some of the, because some of the stretch, some of that pole work he does.
You join in with me?
I'll try.
Yeah. Like that. No, you go stand here next to me. Put the pole on the other foot. No, on that one.
On this one.
So you're going to push your hip to me like this.
Yeah.
No, to me.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah. Now grab the top of the stick.
Yeah.
Put your other hand in the middle of the stick. Now push it away like a bow and arrow.
Oh, that's great. That's exactly where I feel it, right above my bum, my hip.
Yeah. So there and there. Yeah.
Oh, and you're balanced as well.
Yeah. All right. So now let's go like this. All right, let's do a slapstick stretch.
Over.
Yeah. All right.
Sensation.
Hey.
Sensation.
All right. So I'll show you first. So here like this. So that same sort of position.
Yeah.
This end of the stick is going to go to that foot, like that. All right. Those fingers go up there like that. Then I want you to look at that foot there. Then look up and look to that there. Down. Up. All right. And then we're going to lean away.
Oh. There's more.
Alright, so you jump in here and I'll talk you through that.
That's such a good stretch.
Alright, come out of that, just shake it out.
Oh, darling.
Loosey goosey.
How you feeling?
Feel like Conor McGregor now, ready for a fight.
Ready for a battering. Already getting a battering. So what do you call that again? You call this?
Stick mobility.
Stick mobility.
So that's just the name of the company, you just call them stick mobility sticks.
Yeah, I always found that, I thought that was good because it's, for me, 40-year-old stretching now, I had to get more flexible.
So I can work with someone who's got no strength and get them strong, or I can work with someone who's super stiff, make them more mobile. We can work on end range strength, which then makes us stronger at the joint for like a sport or something like that. When you've got a tackle, instead of the arm just flapping around, you can make that whole joint a lot stronger, even for like pressing and stuff like that. So this can spread its way through any element that you're training at. Recovery, warm up, get that fascia nice and loose. Yep.
Slapsticking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you.